When you're starting out with welding, metal art, making sculptures, whatever it is, any kind of metal work, getting materials can be kind of tricky. So I'm going to give you a few tips on where you can get things and some of the more interesting things that I've managed to accumulate. This absolutely chaotic mess is the back room for my workshop, where I keep all the materials I use for the sculptures. I'll spin the camera quickly just so you can have a quick look. So yeah, it's organised chaos. I do know roughly where everything is. Now for my materials, the majority of the things that I get come from people who've lost a loved one, lost a husband, a parent, something like that, and they've got a garage or a shed that they needed clearing out, and rather than take it to the tip, it comes to me and I can breathe new life into it and it turns into a new sculpture that gets enjoyed again. Now for me that works because I've been making the sculptures a long time, my name's out there in the local area and people come to me. But when I was starting out, it was quite tricky to get materials. So a really good one that I found is going to auctions or farm sales and just buying a job lot of old tools, because you'll get all sorts of different things mixed in. There'll be nuts and bolts and spanners and chainsaws, whatever you can find. Now auctions can be brilliant for finding something slightly unusual as well. So this here is actually an aeroplane wheel, so it's a Boeing 747 wheel. I've got a pair of them that I picked up from an auction for 80 quid. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I've had them for about 6 or 7 years and they just take up a massive amount of space. But when else are you going to get the opportunity to buy something like that? Anyway, let's get to some actual useful things. Now, one thing you cannot be afraid to do is ask, because so many people have got things lying around that they just want rid of and you're actually doing them a favour. Depending on what you want to do, if it is just learning how to weld, you're probably better off going to a fabrication place, welding workshop, engineering place, something like that, and just asking if you can have a quick rummage through the scrap bin in exchange for a box of chocolates. If you're wanting to do sculptures out of scrap metal, the bigger variety of types of scrap that you've got, the better, because it opens up more options on what you can make and what parts you can use in those sculptures. So I've got all sorts of things here. Like I've got a steering rack, I've got electric window linkages, I've got computer parts, I've got gears, all sorts of things. Anything you can think of that a company will have as scrap, just go and ask. The worst they can do is say no. One thing you need to do though, don't go in and say, what do you do with your scrap metal? Because they're just going to think you're trying to make money out of weighing it in. Be upfront from the start and say, I'm learning to weld or I'm making sculptures, and it works so much better. Don't get doors shut in your face that way. If you're anything like me though, you need to learn to say no when people offer things. I've got so much stuff that I'm never going to use. Like up here, it's just loads of old tyres. I've looked at the idea of making some tyre sculptures, and I probably will end up doing that at some point, but there's a mountain of tyres up there, and I've got a load more in the front of the workshop from my last video where I made a foxglove, so go back and check that one out if you haven't seen it. I thought I'd take a minute to show some of the more interesting things that I've got. Look at this one here. This is an old, I think it's like 1950s typewriter. No idea what I'm going to do with it, but I absolutely love the thing, so I'm not wasting that. That is sticking around until I'm sure what I'm going to do with it. I've got loads of the old fold-out toolboxes. All of those ones there, and I've still got more at home in the shed. I've got coil springs for suspension. Again, I've got the old tyres, gears and bearings. There's a transmission place near me that reconditions gearboxes. And I did the exact thing that I'm recommending. Every time I go there, I'll take a box of biscuits or a box of chocolates and just say, I'm going to bribe you for some materials. And again, as long as you're not taking a mick and clearing them out completely, because they can make money on the scrap, if you're taking a few little bits, they don't mind. Horseshoes, perfect material. I only actually recently started using these. A guy came to me and he had a load. But same thing again, just ask. Find a farrier, look on Facebook. That's another really good tip as well, is asking on Facebook if anyone's got old tools they want to get rid of. But if you're asking on Facebook for anyone that's getting rid of anything, if they say yes, you need to be very clear about whether you're going to be paying for the materials or not. I got caught out with that pretty early on. A lady got in touch with me. She had mountains of old bicycle parts from her husband after he'd passed away. He used to have a bicycle repair shop. She told me she wanted it all gone, she wanted it cleared out. So I'd cleared out the majority of the loft, loaded it all into the van, went to say thank you, and then she said, so how much are you going to give me for all this once it's already in the van? So you've then got that awkward moment where you've got to try and work out how much you're going to pay for something to keep her happy so she doesn't feel like she's been ripped off and that you're not paying too much for materials that you weren't expecting to pay for. Now to finish up, I thought I'd show you a bit more detail of these Boeing 747 wheels. How cool are these things? The thing that I really like about it is they've got the same markings that a car tyre's got. 235 miles an hour, that's speed rating on it. Somewhere on it, there we go. And the load rating, 51,900 pounds. It's a bit more than the normal Bridgestones that you get on your car. It's just a quick video today. If anyone's got any questions or wants any more tips or anything like that on where to get materials, any ideas, just give me a shout in the comments and I'll go through anything that you're struggling with. See you in the next one.